Hey guys, so today I want to do another overview of my watch collection. So some pieces have changed since last year, so I do want to give another overview of my entire collection. Of course, you guys may have seen some videos here and there of these watches, but this is just going to be a brief overview of each one in my collection. So first of all, this watch box here is by Decorabe, which I highly recommend because I think they make some really nice, good quality watch boxes. You know, this nice wood finish and everything is really nice and elegant, classy looking, I think. I got this for about $60 US. This is the 8 watch version. So they also make like a 10 watch version as well, which is like a much bigger case with like a separate jewelry compartment. But this is the 8 watch case that I've been using since 2021. So yeah, still using it. Still really nice watch box. So yeah, let's take a look at the updated pieces here. So let's take a look. This is like some of my jewelry stuff, so we're not going to go over that. Just going to take a look at the watches here. And these are all analog watches, so this is my analog watch collection. I also have a digital watch collection, which I also did an overview with, but those pieces tend not to change since I don't really get many new digital watches, so I don't need to do another video for that. But for the analog watches, as you guys can see, I do have some updated pieces here. And right now they're kind of arranged, I would say, from chronologically from when I got them. So let's just go over each watch one by one, starting from the top left. So this is my Oris GMT limited edition. GMT stands for Greenwich Mean Time. And I got this watch back in 2018. It is the oldest watch I've had in this collection in terms of how long I've owned it. And this is also one of the most expensive watches in this collection too. When I bought this, it was $2,000 US. So that's the highest price I paid for any watch here. It's $2,000. And yeah, I still keep it. This is actually my main travel watch. So especially when I travel, I use this, and because it's a dual time watch, it's the only watch out of here that's a GMT watch that's dual time. So yeah, it's a really nice watch. Oris is I would say a very esteemed Swiss watch company. They've been doing business since the early 1900s, so they have quite a heritage behind them. They're well known for making, I would say, very good affordable luxury pieces. So affordable luxury being between $1,000 and $3,000, around that price range. So Oris is known for making some really nice timepieces around there. They're also known for their diver watches, their pilot watches, but this one is more of like a classy dress watch type of thing. Although I have the stainless steel bracelet for this one, so it's actually an everyday watch for me. So yeah, going over the watch face here, there's actually a gouache type of texture right here. You guys can notice that on the inner circle here. So it's a gouache style. That's done pretty nicely. I think it's subtle effect, but I think it's done nicely. Then this actually does not have a seconds hand, but instead has a second subdial. So this second subdial here is basically what counts the seconds. So yeah, and it's automatic, of course. And what I like about this watch compared to other GMT watches, because most GMT watches are based off of the Rolex GMT, which means that they use another hand for the second time zone, and I don't really like that design as much. I prefer the way that Oris did it. Not only do you have a nice little graphic here showing the globe, but it's also basically the subdial showing the second time zone. So that's how it tells dual time, is that it has another subdial here with the second time zone, and then you can adjust your main time actually with these pushers here. So if you use these pushers, you can actually go left and right, and that's basically how you adjust when you're in a different time zone. So you can always set this to your home time zone or whatever, then your main time zone wherever you travel. So yeah, this is the main watch I use when I'm traveling. Basically, it's a dual time zone watch, so it makes sense. Also has a date window here at the 6 o'clock. And yeah, just overall, it's a nice clean looking watch. I really do like the way that Oris did the dual time zone here. And the back of the watch is actually engraved, so it is not an open case back, and that's fine because not all watches need to be open case backs. So yeah, this one just says limited GMT limited edition. It has like a little picture of Sir Sanford Fleming, the guy who devised Greenwich Mean Time. So yeah, that's a Nice little graphic there etched on the back. It's limited to 1,000 pieces. This Oris is powered by a Sellita SW200 movement, which, you know, nothing wrong with that. A lot of watches in this price range use it. It's fairly well known and reliable. So that is the Oris GMT Greenwich Meantime Limited Edition. And this watch will pretty much always be my collection, I think, because until someone makes like a really nice GMT that's around this price range, so far, yeah, I haven't seen any other compelling GMTs, so I'm probably just gonna keep this one. All right, so the next watch on here, chronologically speaking, is the Junghans Meister calendar. So Junghans is a German company. They've been making watches and clocks for a very long time, over 100 years, also have a lot of heritage. I got this watch back in 2019, and I think this is just going to be my main watch that has a calendar function. So yeah, none of my watches really have a full calendar, and this one does. It has the day, the month, the date, and the moon phase. So it has 4 complications. What I really like about the way this is designed is it's so clean and minimalist, despite the fact that it has 4 complications. So yeah, they put all these complications on this watch. Like you can tell, even the month, right? The day, the month, the date. I mean, date is kind of like not unusual on a watch, right? A lot of watches have that, but to put the month as well and the moon phase on a dial and still have it be really clean and minimalist looking is really nice. And Junghans is really well known for having minimalist looking watches, because they're a lot of their watches are based on the Bauhaus design, which is a German design of having really like clean, minimalist looking dials, I guess, or interfaces. So yeah, this is I guess kind of inspired by that style. Just all their watches pretty much are done in a really nice, clean, minimalist looking fashion. So it's really just like the upcoming watch after this one. Yeah, Junghans is well known for that, just having really minimalist looking watches. So yeah, that's what I like about it. It just has a lot of functions, a lot of functionality, and it packs it into a dial that doesn't look busy. I don't like watches that look too busy. This one looks very clean and minimalist. So yeah, and this is a nice gray color, I guess. So the Oris is of course white dial, and Junghans is a gray dial. And these are the only 2 watches I have that have the steel bracelet for now, which makes them kind of more like everyday watches, I guess. Now look at the crowns. I forgot to show the Oris crown, but the Oris crown looks like this. It's just their name, so no logo, just their name right here on the crown. The Junghans, however, does have a logo, not their name. And yeah, it's that J star here. So it's like a little star with a J. Just for the attention to detail, by the way, they do have a little star here on the moon phase that also has the J logo on it. So that has the Junghans logo. So that's like a little bit of attention to detail that they have here. See that little J here? Now, I wouldn't say that their moon phase is as nice as a Frederic Constant or anything, and definitely not as nice as my Ferrers, but it's a doable moon phase. You know, it's definitely functional and everything, but it's not the best looking moon phase or anything like that. But I still think it's pretty decent for what it is. You know, the fact that they managed to put it on a watch like this is pretty amazing. And this is actually a domed crystal right here. So you can see this is very vintage, and it is the only one, I believe, out of my watches that doesn't have a sapphire protected glass. It's using this is using mineral crystal. So that's maybe why you see this watch already has some scratches on it. Unfortunately, because it's not using sapphire. I think the way Junghans did it is because they wanted to make it look more vintage, so they have this domed kind of glass right here, and it's just mineral. So yeah, it's not sapphire. So that's, yeah, I mean, I guess it looks more vintage, but yeah, sapphire obviously would have been even better, and then I probably wouldn't have these scratches on it. But yeah, anyways, I do like this watch. The back right here isn't too decorated, but it's okay. I mean, yeah, I paid 1,600 for this watch, so it's one of the more expensive pieces. Not the most expensive. The Oris is 2,000, but 1,600. And I got these both brand new, right? So, yep, still decent amount of chunk of change to pay for something like this. Yeah, I would have preferred if the back was a little bit more decorated, but you know, when it comes to German watches, I think they don't focus on this too much like Swiss watches do. So it's just, yeah, it's not too decorated, but it's a see-through case back, but it's just I would say just decent amount of decoration, not really great. But I do like the fact that yeah, the minimalist dial interface while stuffing a bunch of functionality into it is really impressive. So yeah, you get 4 functions on this watch, and it still looks really clean. So that's what I like about this one. So yeah, that's the Junghans Meister calendar here. All right, next watch is the Nomos Tetra 406. So this is another German company, and it is, I would say, a highly respected one because they actually make everything in-house now, not only just their movements, but they even make their own escapement in-house. So yeah, pretty impressive. They are fairly recent. I think they started right after the Berlin Wall came down, so in the early 90s. So they're fairly recent, but they have gained a lot of respect in the horological world and amongst watch aficionados because they have a lot of expertise in watchmaking now, right? All their in-house movements and as well as making basically everything in-house now, their own calibers, their own escapements now. So yeah, Nomos, highly respected. They are well known for their Bauhaus design, just like Junghans. Maybe even more so than Junghans, because Junghans did have the Max Bill designs, which they're famous for, but Nomos, pretty much everything they make is Bauhaus inspired. So yeah, just like this one. This watch, obviously, it looks very interesting because it's not a typical round shape. It is a square shape, but not just any square shape. It's perfectly square. And that's also what kind of attracted me to it because it's so, yeah, it is part of that Bauhaus minimalistic design, right? And everything Nomos makes is so clean, minimalist looking. But just to encapsulate all that inside of such a small space, right? The small square, and the fact that it's so thin. I mean, look how thin it is, right? Very thin and perfectly square. Very minimalist design, of course. So I think that's what attracted me to this watch. You know, if you guys like German watches are really good at making this like clean, functional design, right? So they got blue steeled hands here, a seconds subdial, just like the Oris, except it's placed in the 6 o'clock position. And yeah, that's really it. It's got a combination. The typefaces here, it's printed, but it's a combination of indices and Arabic numerals here. So yeah, it's I actually originally came with a leather strap, but I swapped it out for a textile strap. So this is a Nomos textile strap. So yeah, this watch I got secondhand, by the way. Brand new, I think it's 2,800, something like that. I got it for 1,400, so I got it roughly half price. Secondhand, but it looks pretty new, you know, like when I got it. So I think I got a decent deal for it. And I think the textile strap really makes it look more of a, for me, a piece that can be more flexible, right? If I kept the original leather strap, then it's really just a dress watch. But because I put the textile strap on it, now I can use it as a dress watch, but also I can use it every day as well. It's definitely more versatile this way. So yeah, this is a very slender, minimalist timepiece. So it's a small timepiece. Doesn't take up too much space on the wrist, which really makes it ideal for, you know, formal, dressy occasions, but also just for any occasion with the strap, right? So pretty nice. So you can dial here. I don't know if you guys can see. It's the Nomos name. It's just tiny, but yeah, you guys can see the Nomos name right here. And then the back, which is their own movement. So this is the Nomos Alpha caliber. It's their first in-house caliber, I believe, and it's a hand-wound watch. So unlike these two, the Oris and Junghans, those were automatic. This is a hand-wound movement, so you got to wind it by hand. And then once you do, and you can see it working here. It's using the traditional Glashütte 3/4 plate because Nomos is a Glashütte watch company, which has traditional watchmaking, I guess, designs. Yeah, Glashütte is probably the most famous area of watchmaking in Germany. It's kind of like the Val d'Ajou, right, of Germany. So yeah, that's the Alpha caliber here, and this is actually pretty nicely decorated. So you guys saw the Junghans, right? The Junghans was not like that decorated, but the Nomos is actually quite a bit more decorated than the Junghans is, and really I think reflects the fact that it's also their own in-house caliber, that therefore they can put more decorations on it. So yeah, just really love this open case back here. This, of course, they also make this model with a closed solid case back, but this particular one I got The 406 has the open case back. So yeah, that's the Nomos Tetra. It's a really unique piece, where it kind of stands out because of the fact that it's not a typical shape, and at the same time, it's just a really minimalist looking piece. So yeah, it's done really well. Oh yeah, by the way guys, the Nomos I got back in 2020. So chronologically, it was the next watch on here that I got. And then next up after that, probably one of the most unique watches in here, as people would notice, right? This is definitely not a ordinary looking watch. This is the Adawak Ettore Drift Light. And I got this back in 2021. And this is from a Chinese micro brand called Adawak. So yeah, they make some pretty unique designs. And you know, when people think of Chinese watches, they think of copycat designs. They think of, oh, they're copying, you know, Patek Philippe, they're copying Rolex or Omega or something. Well, actually, some Chinese brands like this one, they actually make some really cool, unique designs. Not to say that they're completely original. They took inspiration from a lot of the really high-end Swiss brands. In this case, I think Richard Mille and Urwerk is where they took inspiration from, and those are really high-end Swiss brands that cost like hundreds of thousands of dollars. But they made this one really affordable. So this particular model costs only $500 US. So it's actually fairly affordable. One of the most affordable watches I have in my collection, actually, despite the appearance. It's a really cool design. It's a retrograde design, which means you read it from right to left, instead of, like, you know, the traditional clock design. And in fact, it is a fully automatic movement here. You can see on the back here. Yeah, this is a really interesting movement. I think it's a Miyota, or it's based on a Miyota. So yeah, it's a fully automatic movement down here. It's not really decorated or anything, but just I guess the way that they made it looks like a Mercedes-Benz logo, doesn't it? The 3 stars, and yeah, it kind of looks like a car spinning with a hubcap. Anyways, it's pretty cool. Comes with a leather strap, black leather strap here. You can emboss with their own logo, actually. So yeah, and then you can see, actually, you adjust the time from the left side. It's just a really unique looking piece. So you adjust it from this side, and I think that's kind of their logo. They have more expensive designs, actually. I think they just released a new one recently, the Tarantula or something like that. They have some based on the Wandering Hands design, and the Wandering Hands is a really expensive design to produce. I think those are the more expensive designs. This is actually considered the cheaper design, but I think it still looks really cool, right? So yeah, you can tell that the white dial, you know, actually I've had 3 white dials, white dial, white dial, white dial so far. But yeah, you can see, like, there is some textures on this dial here, and yeah, there is something that's moving here, right? You can see, like, this little wheel here is moving, and that's basically the seconds timer. Yeah, so instead of a seconds hand, you have this, like, seconds timer, I guess, that moves this wheel, and then you read it from right to left. So like right now it would be reading 2:06 or 2:05 actually. Yeah, you'll be reading 2:05 right now. So you read it like, right, 2 o'clock and then 5 minutes, like you read it like that. So yeah, just a really interesting design. It is a thick watch, and it kind of has to be because of this design. I mean, just you can see how deep it is. Yeah, it's definitely a thick watch. It's huge actually. So it's not a watch I would wear to any kind of like formal event or anything like that. Definitely more fun design, like a casual design I would wear like just for fun, right? And of course you can get attention wearing something like this. This is definitely an attention grabbing piece. It's because it's just a design that stands out so much. Also, another thing of note is this lume here. So like this lume is so powerful. Like, I don't know how well you guys can see it, but this lume, it lights up really easily. Even if I put my hand here, you can see that lume light up. It lights up really easily, and that's some powerful lume that they put on here. I don't know, it lights up pretty easily though. So yeah, that is the Adawak Ettore Drift Light. I think it's definitely like a brand that most people wouldn't even know about. It's pretty obscure. I only heard about it because of Watchfinder, and Watchfinder told me about it, and then they're like, oh, look at this Chinese watch brand making basically designs based off of $100,000 Swiss watches at an affordable price. And I was like, okay, I got to take a look at that. Okay, so that's the Adawak. I got this 2021. And then last year I got the Corniche. So this is the next watch here. So this is the Corniche Bleu Adore. And Corniche is another micro brand. They're not Chinese though. They're actually Swedish, but they take inspiration from France, which is why they call themselves Corniche. And this model, the Bleu Adore, right? It's in French. It's a limited edition model. They do many limited edition runs. I think recently they actually put out a new one that's using an aventurine dial, which is really cool. But this particular one was limited to 200 pieces, so that is quite limited. Actually, it's probably the most limited watch I have. And yeah, this is not too expensive. It's not to say all micro brands are cheap, but definitely the micro brands that we've seen so far, like they're definitely the cheaper ones on this collection here. This is only $500, just like the Adawak. And Corniche is a brand that basically specializes in chronographs. Now, I'm not like a huge fan of chronographs or anything. I just think they look a little bit too busy on a lot of dials. But Corniche makes these really clean looking chronograph dials. Like, to me, like they're not that busy looking, they're clean looking. So that's why I'm kind of interested in Corniche designs. And they have a lot of really nice, elegant, classy looking designs, I would say. So if you guys are interested, check them out. They're not like super well known because they're a micro brand, but they're not that expensive. Like their watches are like $300, $400, $500, and they all look really classy and elegant. So they make really nice dress watches, and I think this one as well. It makes like a pretty nice dress watch. It comes with this nice, pale blue, slate blue, I think is what they call it. The dial and the strap is slate blue colored, and yeah, as you guys can see, it's a chronograph. It's not fully mechanical. It's a hybrid actually. So it's using a Seiko hybrid movement where it's quartz, but like the main watch functionality is in quartz, but then when you use the chronograph, then it's doing it mechanically. So it's a hybrid movement, I guess, which is pretty cool. What I like about this particular design, yeah, the slate blue color is pretty unique, and with the orange accents, but also the fact that they use applied Arabic numerals. That's also pretty cool. That's definitely not very easy, as you can tell. Like with the chronographs, you can have the subdials here, right? This one is basically how much has elapsed, right, when you use the chronograph, and then you have a 24-hour dial as well. But then the applied Arabic numerals, you see, have to be cut off when they see, they're kind of cut off, right? The 2, 10, 8, and 4. So that's really not that easy to do. So that's really a work of art here. I think that's a lot of work that they had to do to make that work. But yeah, the simplistic, readable subdials here, and yeah, it works, the chronograph and everything. So I can press this to stop it, and I can reset it with this pusher, and it resets. So yeah, pretty simple to operate, and I think it's a really classy, elegant looking chronograph. Can use it for dressy occasions and stuff. Look at the side, that's their logo here, Corniche. Not that fancy or anything like that. But then you look at the back, it's another etch dial. Of course, why would they show it? Because it's actually quartz, right? So they have nothing to show back here. So yeah, this solid case back. But then they have a nice etching here of the, this is called the Côte d'Ivre. It's just the coast of France, southern France, actually. Yeah, so that's kind of the view that you get when you're driving, like, I think maybe around Nice or something like that, like somewhere in southern France, and you see like this kind of scenery, and you can see the mountains and the sun and everything. That's pretty nice. So yeah, the Côte d'Ivre or something like that is what it's called. Anyways, yeah, it's interesting. It's a Swedish micro brand, but inspired by France, I guess. I think they make their watches in China. They must, right, for this price point. But anyways, it's done really well. So I do like it. I think the quality is done really well, especially for this price point. So yeah, that's the Corniche here. So yeah, I just got this last year, and it's definitely a really nice looking dress watch. Okay, now the next two watches I got all this year. I've been on a bit of a watch buying spree, which is not a good thing, but yeah, yeah, I mean, there's just too many watches that I was into, and I just kind of had to get these ones. They just are so appealing. So all three of these I got this year, and they're all fairly expensive, I would say. So this one, yeah, chronologically is the next one I got. So this is the Ferrer Burbridge, and Ferrer is another micro brand. They are actually British micro brand. So yeah, this one, yeah. So they're based in the UK, but they make all their watches in Switzerland, which makes sense because UK doesn't have any large manufacturing, like watch manufacturing operations like Swiss does. So I mean, you do get UK made watches, but they're very like small operations. So yeah, it makes sense that they would kind of just use Switzerland to manufacture their movements, and I think it's just another Sellita movement, or Sellita based movement, which is fine. And yeah, this is the reason why I got this watch is just because I'm not really interested in most of Ferrer watches. Actually, Ferrer is not like a really well-known brand, but I guess they're kind of well-known. They're like an up-and-coming micro brand, I would say. And yeah, most of their designs don't really appeal to me. But when they came out with this moon phase, they had a series of moon phases here. This is just one of them. They also have like a salmon dial, and they have like a midnight blue dial as well. But this particular one is really, really interesting. So the Burbridge model is what this one is called, and it has this Arctic sunburst finish, or Arctic burst finish, I guess. Yeah, it's this very light blue finish here, and it's really, really attractive to me. And the moon phase is really attractive to me as well. It's just, yeah, I mean, it's so big, right? Like, you can compare it to the Junghans, which is more of like a normal size moon phase, right? Normally moon phases on a watch, they just like occupy like a small little subdial part like this, not even the whole subdial, just like half of the subdial like this. Compare it to the Ferrer, which is like a massive opening in taking up almost half of the watch. Like it's just, yeah, you can easily see the stars and the moon here, which by the way, the moon is pink on this model, which is also really unique. That it has a pink moon. You know, most moon phases just go with the standard white, yellow. Yeah, this one went with a pink moon. That's also really unique. So yeah, the dial and the moon phase really caught my eye. This is probably one of the best looking moon phases I've ever seen, and I just had to pick this one up. Price of this was $1,800 US, so it's not cheap. Not the most expensive watch here, but not cheap either. It's definitely one of the more expensive watches here, but you know, it's a very quality watch. Like, the design is really unique. It's not even like a fully round case. It's more like a semi to no shaped case, which is really cool as well. There's a date window down here, just like with the Oris at the 6 o'clock. And yeah, this is I actually don't know exactly where in Switzerland it is made, but yeah, it's probably where a lot of the watch factories are, probably near the Val de Jura, I'm guessing, or Jura, the canton of Jura, probably somewhere around there. Also the seconds hand, right, with the little blue arrow there, that's a nice touch. Applied indices on this one. And then if you look at the side here, it's also got a lot of texturing on the side, right? That's pretty nice too, and it's not even like not a round case or anything like that, so they can kind of add a little bit more texture on the side of the case here. So that's really cool. And then their logo right here, just actually like kind of tinted gold, which is really, really cool. It's hand wound, so I'm just gonna hand wind it a bit. There, get it going. And then you guys can see the movement working. Yeah, decent amount of decoration on the movement, so good job, Ferrer. Definitely more impressive than the Junghans and the Seiko that I have, that's for sure. So yeah, even though it's not an in-house movement, it's definitely one of the nicest Sellita based movements I've seen. So it's done really well, you know, with their kind of name there and everything, but you can also see like the texture of what they put on the plate here. Just done really well. So I really like how Ferrer did this. And originally came with a leather strap. Actually, they gave me 2 leather straps because this one shipped a little bit late, so they gave me an extra one. But yeah, with a leather strap, it could definitely look more dressy. But I put a Milanese loop on here to make it look a bit more everyday. So not casual or anything, still looks really classy, but you know, make it a little bit more versatile. I already have a bunch of leather strap watches, so I don't need another one. Like the Corniche already kind of is like a really dressy looking watch and leather strap and everything. So yeah, just put the Milanese on here, and therefore I can use it for dressy occasions, or I can use it for more everyday occasions as well. So it becomes a little bit more versatile, just like with the Nomos. All right, so that's a Farrah Burbridge. Really nice looking moon phase and dial. All right, next up, probably one of the most interesting dials I've seen, certainly when it comes to the amount of craftsmanship put into it. This is the Seiko Presage Shippo Enamel Limited Edition. I don't think I really need to introduce Seiko too much, because I'm pretty sure most people know about Seiko, right? It's like one of the biggest watch companies in the world, one of the most well-known, the biggest Japanese watch company. They pioneered many technologies like spring drive and quartz. Yeah, they were basically the first to come out with a commercial quartz watch, which kind of, completely turned around the watch industry and just changed it, I guess. So yeah, really needs no introduction. But yeah, this is the Seiko Presage line, which is just one step below the Grand Seiko line in terms of where they position it. So yeah, this is along with the Oris, the most expensive watch in this collection. It's also $2,000 US. You might think that's crazy to pay for a Seiko. This is definitely one of the most expensive non-Grand Seiko watches. So like Grand Seiko, obviously thousands and thousands of dollars, right? But for a Presage level watch, yeah, this is definitely one of the most expensive Presage level watches. And the reason is because of the dial here, right? You can see this dial is really something. It's really something special. It's subtle, but yeah, they call this Shippo Enamel. It's basically a Japanese art technique, I would say. They just put layers of enamel on here. They kind of fire it in the oven repeatedly until they get this effect. It's really nice. So let me show you guys more detail here. Okay, so yeah, you guys can see this dial is amazing. I mean, as great as the dials are on the Farrah, and the Corniche, this dial is just, it's a different level, right? Yeah, it's a subtle effect. It's not something that you'll notice like immediately from far, but once you go close up, then yeah, you'll notice it. It's just really, really awesome looking dial here. So that's part of the reason why it's so expensive. And another part of the reason is because it's limited edition. It's limited to only 800 units. That's it. For a Seiko watch, that's pretty low numbers. And the dial itself is pretty nice. I mean, of course, the Shippo enamel dial is something to behold, but having the Roman numerals applied here and having the gold accents on the 12 o'clock position, the seconds hand, the sub dials, that's also really nice too. So we do have a power reserve here indicator, and then we have a date indicator. So this is pretty much the same way how Junghans does it. Yeah, just you can adjust the date right here. It goes from 1 to 31. And yeah, this is a really nice looking watch, and it comes with this beautiful blue Seiko calf leather strap right here. This is definitely the most dressy watch of my collection, I would say. Like the Corniche is pretty dressy as well, but I think the Seiko Presage is the most dressiest looking watch. I mean, just look, especially with the gold accents. Yeah, it just looks really, really dressy, and it probably is my main dress watch here. You can see the crown here. It's your standard Seiko crown. It is a thick case, definitely on the thick side. I think maybe it has to be that way because of this dial, but definitely on the thick side for sure. I mean, compare this to my thinnest watch, which is the Nomos, right? Nomos is like the thinnest. I mean, you can see like the difference there. Yeah. Then on the back here, exhibition case back. So this is like one of those times where I wish there was just a closed solid case back with some etching instead, because this is not like anything special. Nothing really special about this. It's like just all right. I mean, there's not that much decoration on this movement or anything. It just says Seiko, you know, 29 jewels. Just says the name basically. That's really it. So even Junghans probably had more decoration than this. For a $2,000 watch, yeah, kind of disappointing. But I would have preferred Seiko put like a solid case back here with some like an etched thing, right? Like what Oris did or Corniche. Because if you're not going to have a really nice looking movement, then why even show it off, right? Why even have this exhibition case back? It's like nothing special really. And if I'm paying $2,000 for a watch, it's actually disappointing that I see this. So I'd rather they just like etch something on the back here, you know, cool little graphic with some limited edition text or something like that. That would have been better, because this is not really what I want to see from a $2,000 watch. Then again, it is Japanese, and you know, like I said in the review video, Japanese don't care too much about the decoration of the movements. They focus more on the dial, which Japanese dials are really something, especially for this price point, right? I mean, you could look at Orient watches or Citizen watches, Seiko, but especially Grand Seiko. Their dials are just the best in the watch industry. Even, yeah, I would say even the really high-end Swiss watches like Patek Philippe, even those watches have a hard time, or A. Lange and Sonnet, right? Like even those like level watches, Breguet or whatever, they have a hard time matching Grand Seiko's dials. So I mean, I want to see like what kind of Swiss watch like that has this kind of dial, right? For this kind of money, like $2,000, sure, it's a lot of money, but again, if a Swiss watch had something even remotely close to this dial, it would be a lot more than that. So yeah, like this is really something special. And yeah, I think it's really only Japanese companies that are really specialized in making these really special dials. Like the Casio Oceanus I had was pretty unique as well, with the bezel and everything. It's really like this kind of stuff that Japanese specialize at, the craftsmanship of the dial and the casing. Yeah, that's really unique. And yeah, if a Swiss watch company did this, it would be many times more expensive, I bet. So anyways, that's the Seiko Presage Schiphol Enamel limited edition. They did make one a few years back, I think in 2018, but it did not have the gold accents. Then again, it wasn't as expensive either. But it was basically like this watch, except without the gold accents. And of course, I'd be remiss not to mention the seconds hand has this little crescent moon, which is it's a pretty nice touch. So anyways, that's the yeah, Seiko Presage. Probably one of the most expensive Seiko Presages on the market. So next up, we have one of the most unique looking watches in this collection, probably along with the Adelac. I'm not sure which one people would notice more, but they're both very noticeable. This is the Hamilton Ventura Elvis 80 Skeleton. So I used to have a Hamilton Ventura before Elvis 80, but it was the quartz version. So this is the automatic skeleton version. And the reason I picked this one up is because, yeah, it's really cool looking. It's crazy looking, actually. It has this like steampunk vibe almost. I want to say it's like steampunk, but it's definitely got a retro futuristic look to it, where it kind of like, yeah, it would kind of belong in a game like Fallout or something like that. It's just really cool. So this is definitely, again, not something that I would wear to any kind of formal dressy occasion, but for a casual everyday watch, this is really like cool looking. Will definitely get some attention. So just like the Adelac, this will definitely get a lot of attention. It's just really unique looking. So this watch costs $1,200 for me. The retail price though is around $1,800, so it's not cheap. But again, not the most expensive in this collection either, but not cheap. It's kind of in the middle, I guess. But yeah, this is yeah, it's a pretty nice looking watch because so Hamilton, if you guys don't know, they were originally an American watch brand, a very historic American watch brand actually, but then they became a Swiss brand after, yeah, let's just say after the American watch industry kind of faded. Swiss watch industry took it over, and now it's owned by Swatch. So this actually uses an ETA Powermatic movement. So Swatch brands usually use ETA because Swatch owns ETA. Nothing wrong with that. ETAs are very solid movements. It's not in-house, but whatever. The Ventura line is known for the triangular shape. It's a really unique shape, and as the first battery-powered watch, so it kind of has a heritage. It's also well known for Elvis wearing it, which is why they have a whole line of Elvis inspired watches, I guess, even though Elvis actually never wore this model, but I guess it's inspired by Elvis and his boldness, I guess, let's just say. I'm not sure if Elvis would actually wear this if he was alive, but anyways, yeah, it's got a black casing. It's the only watch in my collection that has a black dial and a black casing. Rubber strap, also the only watch in my collection that has a rubber strap. And yeah, this is the automatic watch, so let's take a look at the back of this watch. So yeah, you can tell, though this case is really unique, but yeah, you do have the automatic Hamilton movement here. It is, yeah, it's an ETA movement, just, you know, a little bit spiced up with the Hamilton name. But otherwise, yeah, it's not that much decorations or anything. It's just your normal amount, I guess. So probably the most decorated case back out of the watches I've owned was the Frederic Constant Slimline Moon Phase, which I don't regularly wear anymore, so it's not in this collection, but the Ferrer kind of replaced it. But yeah, this is it's pretty decent looking movement. It's not like really decorated or anything like that, but it's not terrible like the Seiko either. Seiko movement is like not decorated almost at all, but yeah, it's Hamilton's okay. Yeah, it's just cool as it's in this triangular case shape, right? So yeah, that's pretty much it. The Hamilton Ventura Elvis 80 skeleton, and this being a skeleton, it's missing the date indicator of the original Elvis 80, but in return you do get that really cool look, right? You get this electric bar motif, you get this balance wheel, right, constantly working so that you get the sense of power coming from it. So yeah, I just picked this up because it's just a really, really cool looking watch, and you know, as an everyday fun watch to wear, you know, I can pick this or the Adelac. But yeah, I know these are big watches, right? These two are big watches. They're fun watches. They're not watches you would wear every day, but once in a while, you know, take it out, wear it, and then get some people talking, basically. So that's why I got it. All right, so yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. That is my new watch collection for this year, 2023. I mean, like, these three I just got them all this year. They're all like very different though, so yeah, I gotta have some variety. So yeah, that's it, guys. Let me know if you have any questions or comments about watches or anything else, or any of these models. Let me know. And yeah, as always, thanks for watching.